Okay, hi there. I'm Rebecca King. I'm one of the chef instructors at Quinsigamond Community College, based here at the Worcester Senior Center. We are starting off some segments for you all here in Worcester. The first segment that we're doing is going to be in line with the Senior Center's annual multicultural celebration that we have to do virtually this year because of COVID. So we're here broadcasting to you. We're going to do a simple cultural cuisine that is Thai sticky rice with mango. So we're first going to talk about different methods that you can make the sticky rice in, from both the traditional method to a microwave method to a stovetop method. So a couple different ways that you can do the sticky rice. And in mango. So we'll talk about the mango, how to cut the mango, how to slice the mango. So the first segment we're going to do is we're going to talk about the cooking techniques that are used in that sticky rice. So the first thing with the sticky rice is always going to be the preparation of the rice. So this is our sticky rice. This comes from the Asian market or an international market. It's a sweet glutinous rice that's typically used for the sticky rice. And that's what we're going to use here today. So I need to get a measuring cup. So I'm going to get a measuring cup. So prepping the rice is almost the most important thing that you need to do when you do sticky rice, because it has to be rinsed and soaked pretty thoroughly in order to have it cook better in the steamer. So when you cook it in the steamer, you want to have it thoroughly kind of softened and reduced from all the excess starch, which is going to make it soft, sticky, and fluffy. Okay, so we're going to use 2 cups. All the recipes that we have today call for 2 cups of the rice. So whether you're doing it in the traditional bamboo steamer, which we'll talk about, or the microwave, it's 2 cups of the rice. And then the next step is pretty indicative whether you're going to do it in the stovetop steamer, the bamboo steamer, or whether or not you're going to do it in the microwave. They're all going to be, the rice is going to be rinsed first in multiple rinses, and then it's going to be drained, and then it's going to be soaked. It's a cold water soak if you're using the bamboo steamer basket or the stovetop method. For the microwave method, we're going to do a hot soak, and it's going to be shorter. Your average soak time is 4 to 24 hours on the sticky rice. So typically a day ahead or overnight is better. So we're going to do the sticky rice for the microwave right now because I already have my sticky rice soaking for the bamboo steamer method that we're going to use. So I'm going to show you guys how to rinse it and get it ready for the hot soak on the microwave. Okay, so I have my 2 pints, according to the recipe, I have my 2 pints of water on the stove coming to a boil for my microwave rice. So I have in here soaking my rice that's been soaking for at least 4 to 6 hours now. So that is there for my bamboo steamer basket. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the 2 cups of rice that I had ready for the microwave. So I'm going to take cold water, and you want to take your fingers and kind of just slosh it around in here, all right? And as you do it, you're just going to kind of drain off, and you'll see that kind of milky substance that's happening there. So when it's that cloudy water, that's all the starch that we're rinsing off. So you're just going to keep kind of rinsing the rice until you start to see the water run a little clearer. So you can see we're starting to get a little bit clearer now, as you can start seeing the rice granules. So I'm just going to kind of keep, by doing this, you're releasing those starches in there. So you see my water got cloudy again. So I'm going to drain that off some more. Add some more water. Take my fingers, go in there. You can see my water got cloudy again. Now we're just going to keep letting it run until the water gets clear. And so once you get most of it rinsed off, then we can switch over to a fine mesh strainer or a colander that has smaller holes. Get our rice. And then we just kind of give it a rinse. And you can see the water still coming out a little cloudy. You just keep rinsing the rice till you start to see the water come a little clearer. Coming out a little clearer now. Cloudy, cloudy as you're mixing it around. And clearer. So you want to just kind of slosh it around a little bit, swirling motion to get most of the water out of there. And then we're going to add this into our bowl. So this is for our microwave one. All right. So for our bamboo steamer rice, we're going to get our bamboo steamer basket. So these are traditional for cooking the Thai sticky rice. So these are, you can get them at the international market. I think they were like $4.99, so pretty reasonable. For the baskets themselves, they are reusable. The baskets typically get soaked, at least overnight. You want to get most of the baskets kind of soaked and prepped before you actually start cooking the rice in here. We've actually used ours for rice already, so we've already done our soaking method, but you can kind of just stick it into a large bowl or a pot and get that water soaking into it. And then take it out and let it dry. So you want to do that probably about a day ahead of time. Do the soaking process, take it out, let it dry. So before you use it each time, though, you should take some water and give it a quick rinse. Make sure there's no residue. Shake out some of the excess water that's there. If you want, you could take a towel and you could dry it out a little bit on the inside. I'm just going to make sure I get all the excess water out of here. All right. So traditionally, and in the recipe that you'll see attached here, you'll have the picture of the traditional pot. On places like Amazon, you can actually get the basket and the pot together, but it's a curved-looking pot. But you could use any large stock pot. I'm using this pot here. As long as the basket rests in there and it doesn't hit the bottom of the pot, because we want to be able to put our water in here, that our basket isn't going to touch the water. You don't want to do that because it's going to make your rice too sticky at the bottom. So what we want to do is we want to be able to fill this pot up about 2 inches high, and then it doesn't come in contact with the bottom of our basket. So just have a large soup pot or stock pot you can use for that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually rinse, drain and rinse the rice that has been soaking for a couple of hours. It's going to be for my steamer basket. All right. So like our microwave rice, and you'll actually feel that these granules are actually a little softer after they've been soaked. All right. And then you're just going to give it a quick rinse to rinse out any remaining starch on the rice. All right, then we're going to add it right into our steamer basket. And we're going to have it ready to go on the stove. Give it a shake. You want to shake out the excess water. And then you also want to kind of just tap it down so the rice is level at the bottom. All right. So that's it. That's the rinsing and draining of the rice. Okay, so we've got our microwave rice that we rinsed and drained and kind of sloshed around all that starchy water, that white water that's in there. So I've got my 2 pints of hot water that I brought to a boil, and this is just the microwave one. So I'm going to take this hot water, I'm going to pour it over the top of the rice, and you want the boiling water for this one because this is going to be a fast soak. And we want just enough boiling water that we're just going to cover the top of the rice. Just kind of coat and cover the top of the rice. All right. So now this is going to be on our 15-minute soak. So I'm going to set a timer for that, for our 15 minutes. Okay, so now that that is soaking, we're going to concentrate on getting our bamboo sticky rice with the bamboo steamer, with our bamboo steamer on. So I'm going to take 6 cups of water, and I'm going to put that in my pot. And I'm going to want to bring that to a boil. I'm going to move this. And that's going to get us to that 2 inches, about 2 inches at the bottom of our pot. I'm going to cover it so it boils a little faster. All right, so to recap, we rinsed and drained our 2 cups of sticky rice for the microwave. And then we added our boiling water to that, just enough water to coat the top of the rice. And that's now sitting with a timer for 15 minutes before we put that into the microwave for steamer. For our steamer basket method, our traditional Thai method with the bamboo steamer basket, we have our 6 cups of water in the pot waiting to come to a boil. And as soon as that comes to a boil, we'll add our bamboo steamer basket with the rice in it to the pot. So the other thing that you're going to need for that is you're going to need a lid that you can kind of fit into your basket. If you don't have a lid that fits, you can use a plate. So like you can use an upside down plate. You just want something that's going to have a pretty good seal on it, but not super tight that it's going to build up a lot of heat and expansion that might blow your lid off of there. So a plate will work just fine on there. So the same thing for the microwave. We wanted a microwave safe bowl with a lid. I'm just going to use a plate on mine, just kind of an upside down plate. Yet again, something that's going to cover our rice, but not super tight fitting. And here I have this little gap in my bowl, so that's going to work as a bit of a vent on my microwave rice as well. So, so the next thing that we have is that we're going to measure out our ingredients for our coconut mixture for our sticky rice. So with that, you're going to need coconut milk. And you want the coconut milk that's in the can, not the coconut milk that's in the store, because you need the can one that has the really good milk fat in it. That's what's going to make the sauce kind of thick and creamy versus the carton of coconut milk in the store. So we're going to use that, and we're going to use a little palm sugar or coconut sugar. You can substitute white sugar if you wanted to, if you couldn't find the coconut or palm sugar, but you can find this at most of your grocery stores as coconut sugar or palm sugar. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do for the recipe is I'm going to open up my can of coconut milk. And you'll see as soon as you open this can, the difference in coconut milk versus what you see in the store. It has this really thick layer to it. And then when we go to pour this in a container, and I usually tell people or suggest that you pour the contents in its entirety into the bowl, okay? Because you'll see when I go to dump this out, so when I go to take this out, you'll see there's going to be kind of this really thick liquid Okay, that's that milk fat that makes coconut milk so yummy. And then it's going to have like this watery substance here. And that watery substance is just like the whey from the coconut milk. So just going to empty it into here. You can use a spoon, you can use a fork, you can use a small whisk like I am. And we're going to whisk this together until it gets to be a nice, smooth, thick, creamy liquid. All right. So you're looking for just not to have that separation like you had in the beginning. You want it to be this nice, creamy look to it. It's going to look like a real heavy cream when you're all done. All right. So you can just kind of put your can, set it aside. All right. Get up my spill. All right, so my water's boiling for my sticky rice. So I'm going to leave my milk there and get my sticky rice in the basket. And just remember, with the sticky rice, you're going to just kind of tap it down a little bit so your rice gets kind of flat formed. Don't need to really push the basket in. You can just kind of set it up on the top like I am, just loosely, just so it's fitting into your pot. I'm going to take my cover. I'm going to put it on. All right. Just going to set the cover on the top. Then I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes. And then in 10 minutes, we're going to flip our rice. And I'll show you guys how to do that. So we've got our 10-minute timer. So at this point, we have our microwave batch has about 8 minutes on it for our hot water soak before we microwave it. And then I just set our timer for 10 minutes for our bamboo steamer that we're going to give our rice a flip, which is basically going to incorporate the kernels of rice from the bottom. We're going to flip them over so we can cook the rice a little bit more evenly. All right, so back to our coconut milk. So we've got our coconut milk. It should be thoroughly whisked at this point. And then we need to measure out 1.5 to 2 cups. So if you have a 2 or a 4 cup measuring cup, you can do that. So you can take your bowl. And this is going to be pretty close to this whole can where I've done this before. So this is just over 1.5 cups. Okay, so if you use one 13.5 ounce can. Okay, so this is a 13.5 ounce can. And that's going to get us to about 1 3/4 cups of coconut milk, which gets us right between that 1.5 to 2 cups of coconut milk. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our palm sugar. All right. And depending on how sweet this is, I did a teaspoon of this when I did it before. And it wasn't overly sweet. So if you don't want it too sweet, the 1 teaspoon should be sufficient. So you go 1 teaspoon of your coconut sugar. I'm going to do it a little bit sweeter, so I'm going to do 2. But you can adjust that based on how sweet that you want it. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to, I've got a portable burner here, and I'm going to turn this on and get it going. You want around medium-low heat. So on your dial on your stove, like 3 or 4 is going to be the number you're looking for. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my coconut milk. I'm going to add that to my pot. The coconut milk's kind of thick, so you might want to take a spoon or a rubber spatula to kind of get all that coconut milk out of your measuring cup. Okay, so coconut milk can be, just like any other milk, can be kind of delicate. And so you want to make sure that you are not cooking this too high. So definitely like a medium-low heat is ideal. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our palm sugar. And we want to add our palm sugar, and we're going to cook this till the sugar dissolves. That's what we're looking to do. Right? So you're looking for that coconut milk to heat up and that palm sugar to dissolve. So once that palm sugar and coconut milk get heated up and dissolve, then we're going to just keep that on very, very low in a simmer. The important thing with the sticky rice is that when we add the coconut milk mixture to the rice, we want the coconut milk mixture hot as well as the rice. We want both of those to be pretty hot. Okay? And so we're going to keep that on medium-low until it starts to come to a simmer. Get that coconut sugar dissolved in there. And then we're going to make sure we turn it really low, that we're just keeping it hot. We're not bringing it to a boil and breaking that coconut milk down. Okay? So we've got about 4 minutes before our microwave rice is fully softened with that hot water method. And then we've got about another 5 minutes before we do our flip on our rice. Okay, so my timer is getting ready to go off on my microwave rice for where it's been hot soaking to soften my rice for the microwave. So I'm going to go ahead and look at my next step there, which is we're going to do the microwaving the sticky rice, and we're going to place all right. So we're going to add our rice to here into our microwave safe bowl. We want to make sure we have just enough rice that we are just enough water to cover our rice is what we're looking for. So I'm going to get that all down in there. And you can feel how this rice got really soft and sticky already too. I'm just going to give it a quick stir with my fingers there. Okay, that's my flip on my other bamboo steamer. So I'm just going to put my cover on here. Remember, just loosely cover. You don't want to have it real tight on there because it's going to expand and kind of blow off. So we don't want that pressure to build up. So we're going to cook it in the microwave, and you want to cook it in the microwave non-stop for 7 minutes. So you want to make sure it's continuously cooking. So that means you're probably going to have to type the time into your microwave. So I'm going to do 7 minutes and start. And we're going to leave that unattended for 7 minutes. Okay? My coconut mixture I have turned down to very low, so it's just staying hot for me. Okay? So I'm going to move this off the burner for a second, just so I can show you how to shut my burner off because I've got the gas. So I'm going to carefully take this cover off. Whatever you have for a lid, you're going to take off because that steam is going to be trapped under there, so just be careful with that. So we're going to take that down. And then I'm going to take my rice, and then I'm going to kind of push my sides down on the basket. You push it down. So these baskets are kind of made to collapse, and your rice is going to be in a bit of a ball. So as you're kind of pushing the sides down, it's going to ball up your rice, and you're literally just going to do a flip. What we're looking to do is just get that bottom rice flipped over. So that ball is just flipped over. So just like that. Okay? Making sure you have water still in the bottom of your pot. All right? So then we're going to put our basket back in here. We're going to put our cover back on. All right? And we're going to cook it for an additional 5 minutes. And then we're going to check it and see if it's sticky and tender how we want it to be. All right, so Once our rice is done, whether you're doing the microwave method or whether you're doing the steamer basket method with the bamboo basket, the finish off is going to be the same. So the other recipe that we'll have posted is going to be for just the sweet sticky rice with mango. So the way we're going to finish that off is whatever method you're using, we're going to take that rice out, we're going to empty it into a container, and we're going to add about half of this coconut mixture to it and toss it around with half of that. Then we're going to take it, we're going to put it on our plate, kind of mold it and shape it, and then we'll be able to drizzle a little bit more of that remaining sauce on it. And then we're going to do it with our mango stand out around the side. And then I'll show you kind of how that gets plated and served. All right? So the next segment that we have is we're going to go into the mangoes. Okay? So when we get to our rice is all done, we're going to take our mangoes, and I'm going to talk about the mangoes and how we peel them, how we cut them, and how we get around that enormous pit. So if you've never done a mango before, the mangoes have a very wide, long pit that runs almost the whole width and length of the fruit, okay, which makes them a little bit more difficult to cut. So we are going to show you when we're done with our rice and we have it all set. I'm going to show you how to peel those. I'm going to show you how to kind of segment and peel the sides off of it to where we can get some nice mango slices for our sticky rice. The other thing that you can do, we can do it with a knife and a board, so you'll need a knife and a board and a peeler when we get to the mango portion, the knife, the board, and the peeler. Or if you have a mango slicer, which looks like this, I'll show you one traditional one with the knife, and then I'll show you another one that has the mango slicer. The mango slicer kind of shows you this is about the width of the pit and typically the shape of the pit, and like I said, it runs through the top to the bottom of the mango. And these two sides are what's going to give you that peel of the half. So what we're going to kind of do is peel the half of the mango down off of the pit. Okay? So I'm going to do my 5 more minutes on my rice. And my microwave has about 3 minutes on the rice. And then I'll show you how to finish those off. All right, so my microwave has just gone off. That has my rice in it from the microwave method. So I'm going to get a nice, I like a wooden spoon or a spatula. It works really well with the rice from both the mixing perspective and kind of from the sticking perspective. Okay, so just going to be careful because we are steaming, so this is going to be hot. So we're going to take our pot holders and pull our pan out of here. Carefully remove that plate because remember there's going to be some steam coming out of that. All right. And we're going to give this rice a check. So we're looking for a couple of things. We're looking for the liquid, which I do still have some liquid left in here. Okay, so we kind of want that liquid to be gone. And we're also looking for the rice to be kind of soft and sticky. So I'm actually going to put this back in. Judging by the liquid level, I'm going to try another 2 minutes. So I'm just going to rest my plate on there. Using my pot holders, I'm going to pick it back up, put it back in. I'm going to set the microwave for 2 minutes. Okay, so while that's cooking, I'm going to get my coconut mixture. So my coconut milk and my coconut milk and coconut sugar, this nice mixture that we did over here. And I'm going to put that into, I like to put it just right back in my measuring cup that I used for my coconut milk. Kind of saves you a dish. And it also makes it real easy to pour the mixture. And we also need to add roughly half the mixture to our rice. So then I can see when I get to about half the mixture, I'll be able to see that from the measuring cup perspective. And then also it'll be easy to pour into my rice mixture and then drizzle onto my rice mixture once it's plated to finish it off. Okay, so that's my timer for my stovetop rice in the bamboo steamer. So I'm going to shut that off. I'm going to take my pot holders, I'm going to pull that over. All right. Take my lid off. Remember, careful there, because that's going to be hot. You may have some steam escape. I'm going to take my wooden, okay? So it's feeling pretty sticky. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check the doneness of it and see how soft it is, because we've achieved the sticky. All right, and here, get this off. Okay, we are soft and sticky. Okay, we are soft and sticky. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this out, remove any of that excess water. And the basket is usually pretty easy to handle afterwards. And you're just going to have this nice ball that's going to pop out of your basket. It's going to look like this. So you're going to have that nice sticky ball left over there. So I'm going to set that aside. And remember, we want to keep that mixture hot to add our hot milk mixture to it. So we don't want to let it sit too long before we start to add our milk mixture to it. So now my microwave's gone off again, so I'm going to check that one and see where we are with that. And of course with this, the timing is going to be subjective based on the microwave that you have, so how powerful it is, as well as how much rice to water ratio that you actually put into your microwave, okay? Because you're only supposed to put as much to cover the rice, all right? So you can see this one, we're a lot stickier. So I'm going to add this right into our other bowl. You can see it. So this one's going to be a little mushier because we did that hot soak on the rice. So you're going to find the consistency is going to be a little bit different. And because we did it in the microwave with the water. Okay, so the difference between doing it in the steamer with the water, the steamer basket, with not coming in contact with the water versus the microwave that came in contact with the water. All right, so you can give that a try if you want, but I can tell by looking at this that we have that sticky consistency and it's soft. All right. So the other thing you're looking for with the rice is you can kind of be able to pick it up with your fingers, and that's why it's called sticky rice, because they usually take this out in the fields in Thailand, and they'll actually just eat the rice just like this as a snack. They can bring it in a bowl, carry it with them. No forks or utensils needed, and you can just kind of grab it and go. Okay. So if you were making just plain sticky rice, you would stop at that step, but we're going to make it into the traditional Thai sticky rice with mango, which is a traditional dessert in Thailand. So once all your rices are done, then we're going to add that coconut mixture and do our mangoes. Okay, so we've got our hot sticky rice that we did here. I'm just going to get a spatula. So you can use a rubber spatula or a wooden spatula for this next evolution. So we've got our sticky rice here. And remember, you want to add your milk mixture to your rice while it's hot. So we want to have our hot milk mixture. That's that coconut and palm sugar. We're going to add it to our hot sticky rice. Now we're only going to add about half of this. And that's why I like to put my milk mixture back in the measuring cup that I used. So I know that I can do roughly half. And I'm going to pour at 1.5 cups. So I'm going to pour about 3/4 of a cup out of this back into my rice. And what we're gonna do is the rest of the sauce is going to be used to finish off our plates. So with having both the rice and the coconut mixture hot, makes it much easier to mix. Okay, so you're just going to take your spatula and we're going to just mix that mixture together. Get all that sticky rice nicely coated. Then you're going to have a nice sticky coconut scented rice. And remember, this is a dessert in a lot of places in Thailand, so that's why it kind of has that nice sweet coconut flavor to it. So we're taking that traditional sticky rice, we're making it just a little bit sweeter, so it's more suitable for dessert. Okay, so get myself a plate. All right, so I've got myself a bowl here. You can use a dinner plate. You can use a large bowl like this. So we're going to take, you can use just a small plastic container like this. You can use a small round bowl, whatever you have on hand, plastic bowl, glass bowl, metal bowl, whatever you want. And you're just going to take the sticky rice. We're going to just pack that in there. This is where a smooth spatula or a wooden spoon or something works really well. So we're just going to kind of smooth that in there. All right. And once we got it kind of packed in there, we're just going to take it and we're going to turn it upside down onto our plate. So now we have our square of sticky rice that's there with our coconut mixture and our rice. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is mangoes. Okay, so these are mango. These are pretty common size and shape for the mangoes. The first thing you want to do with the mangoes, we want to just kind of take the stems off. Sometimes there's a little stem at the bottom here. We're going to pop that off. Set that aside. If there's any stickers, we're going to peel the stickers off of those. Keep them off your cutting boards so we don't get them mixed in with our finished product. Just easily stick them off to the side here. Okay, so then we're going to start with our mango. Now mangoes have a very wide pit that typically runs the width of the mango and from top to bottom. So unlike peaches and plums and other things like that that might have a pit, the pits on these are pretty big. And the other thing is the skin, or not the skin, the flesh of the mango tends to stick to the pits in these. So it's not going to come cleanly off the pit like it would with a peach or a plum. So with the mango, I usually typically like to put it with the stem side down onto my cutting board, keep some fingers on the top, and then I just start to peel it. Now, I usually peel from the top to the bottom, and I usually like to do it in this direction because the mangoes can be really slippery, so you can have a really hard time holding on to it as you start to peel it, because the more you peel away the skin, the more you're going to be left with that kind of slippery flesh. You're going to have a hard time holding on to it. So I find by doing it this way, kind of standing it up, I'm able to kind of keep maneuvering the peeler on my mango and just kind of keep rotating the mango. And we've got some good steady hands on it, and it's not sliding and slipping around on me. Okay? It doesn't matter what kind of peeler you have. Any peeler will work. Okay, so once I kind of get all the way worked around here, then you're going to be left with this bottom section. So then I just kind of tip it on its side, a little bit of an angle, and then I'll just clean it up from there. Just able to get a better grip on it now, where it's not so slippery. Okay, and then you can just kind of peel the bottom here. And then lastly, I'll go back up to the top, and then I can just go to the top and just whip off that last little bit there. And now my mango is fully peeled. See if I peel off to the side. All right. So now I'm going to peel my other mango here. Remember, just keep rotating. Keep the fingers at the top. So this mango is not as ripe, so you can kind of see the difference in the color and the texture, and I'll do a full contrast to that. And that happens, you know, the fruit just ripens differently, even though I bought them at the same time and they've been in the same environment. If you feel like your fruit is not ripe, you can always store them at room temperature in a paper bag. It's usually the best thing for ripening, whether it be bananas, avocados, mangoes, anything like that. Brown paper bag for a couple of days actually will ripen it up quite nicely. It'll get soft and ripe. Keeps the moisture out of it, holds the heat in. Look at all my peel. All right, so get all my peels to the side here. So like I said, you're going to find a difference in the color and the texture and the consistency when one is riper than the other, and you can kind of see one is like more of an off-white color, another one is that nice kind of bright yellow, but that's the difference in the ripeness. Okay, so I'm going to do for the knife, so you want to get a nice sharp knife. You want to make sure you're, yet again, back to that stem down, fingers kind of at the top. First thing you want to do is just want to take your knife and just push it very much into the top of the mango. When you get to the point where it stops, that's where you're on the pit, okay? And you want to do this straight down the middle, right? You're going to move your knife a little bit to an angle, and then that will enable you to get around the pit, okay? And that's what you call taking the peel, all right? So you're going to put the same thing on the other side. You're going to take your knife at the top, push it down to where you're starting to meet the pit. You're going to angle your knife a little bit, just a little, ever so slight adjustment, and keep pushing it down until you meet the resistance of the pit, and just keep kind of slightly angling your knife until you're done. Okay, now it's going to be free from the pit as well. Now, this mango pit still has some pieces on here. So you can take your big knife, or you can take a paring knife, and you can just kind of pull these pieces off the mango if you want. Those are nice pieces to eat. So you can just eat those sections. Not necessarily going to be nice for garnishing our sticky rice, but they are edible if you want to save some of that nice flesh off of there. So we've got those pieces here. Now, slicing the mango could be kind of intimidating, or peeling and cutting it off the halves. So they do make mango slicers. It looks like this. You can buy them at the store. They have a oval center to them, which is kind of in line with the pit, or the shape of the pit. And then it has these two sections that will actually peel off the flesh off the pit itself. Okay, works very much like an apple slicer. So we're going to stand our mango up from top to bottom, bottom to top. And then you're going to just kind of line this cutter right over the top, move your hands out of the way. And just kind of keep wiggling this. It takes a little while to get started. You might have to put a little excess pressure on it, especially since that mango gets a little slippery. But once you kind of get it on the pit, then you can force it down, and you're going to be left. Now, our pit was kind of odd-shaped, which is why I had that little bit extra resistance. And that's kind of the unpredictability that happens with the mangoes. So you can see where it kind of bleeded out through here. And then you can just clean that up with a paring knife or the tip of your knife, whatever you're comfortable with. So kind of just cut that part out, just like you would if you had any other type of pit or seed. You would just be able to pull it out with your knife. Okay? But this is probably indicative of the fact that it's not super ripe. You can do the same thing where you can just take your knife and run it along that seed. All right, get the remainders. But you can see where the seeds are really big, really fat portion of the mango. All right, so that's pretty much the use of the mango slicer. Same thing, you end up with the same halves, whether you use the mango slicer or not. Alright, so for our sticky rice, we're just going to garnish, and you can just get your knife, and I usually just like to slice it nice slices slightly on an angle. Alright, so you can make it pretty like that. You can just kind of fan it out amongst your rice like that. Sometimes I've seen them displayed where they're kind of just cut in long ways, and then they're just cut into like cubes. You can do it that way. You can layer it on here. Depends on the presentation that you're looking for. So you can do them in the thin slices and you can kind of fan them along like that, or you can do them as the cubes. So now when it comes down to serving the mango sticky rice, someone can just take a slice of the mango and kind of dip it on there, or you can actually pull off some of that sticky rice. I'll use it with one of these so we don't ruin our presentation. So you could just take like the piece of mango, and sticky rice is kind of meant to eat with the fingers. So you could just take it and kind of just put it on the mango, and then you would take a bite. So almost like a chip and a dip. So that is your mango sticky rice presentation. So you have it like that, and then people could just come along, grab a fingerful and a slice of mango, or they can layer it like a chip like we have here. And that is your mango sticky rice.